Fils Comuns és una exposició de dues creadores angleses de puntes contemporànies, Denise Watts i Jane Atkinson, que es van conèixer en persona per accident després de molt temps d'admiració mútua i va ser en una convenció de puntes el 1991. Des de llavors que no han deixat de compartir coneixements, pors i confiança.
Although we work completely differently, we both work from the heart, and it can be, we both work from personal observation and personal conviction, and it can be hard getting unusual work accepted in the lace world, where the predominant attitude is to revere traditional work. And there have been times when we felt quite isolated and lonely, but we've had each other to support each other and keep each other going.
And encourage each other when somebody's flagging a bit and saying, oh, I don't know whether this is worth doing, and the other one's saying, yes, go for it, you've got to keep going, you've got to keep the ball rolling, it's going to be fine.
Yes, I mean, there are times when we thought of walking away from lace because it's all too hard, but the bottom line is that we both love making it, and it is such a joyous process. It is my therapy, and it is also the thing that gives me great pleasure through trouble and toil.
I couldn't agree more. Every time I've had anxiety in my life, I've turned to my lace to work my way through it. That lovely rhythm of the bobbins when you're actually making it is so therapeutic.
El seu domini de tècniques i materials es desenvolupa utilitzant les puntes com un llenguatge per il·lustrar les seves opinions i expressar idees sobre els problemes que han envoltat la seva vida, fent ús de diferents mitjans d'expressió.
What we both do is we see all the techniques of all the laces as our toolbox, this lovely toolbox of all these tools that we have, and then when we want to achieve a particular effect, we rummage about in our toolbox and we say, oh, that's the one we want, let's try that one.
And I would look for a stitch to give me a particular shadow, perhaps, or sense of movement in a piece of work, and I look in a book and I think, oh yes, that looks interesting, and then I start to try it and I think, well, how could I change it and think of another way of using this, and it might not actually work out for the piece that I'm using, piece that I'm making, and then perhaps a year or two later I'm in the middle of a problem and I think, oh, what about that stitch that I was developing a couple of years ago, and then I discover something totally new that you can do with it, and that to me has been the thrill of developing ideas.
The both of us, and this is very much the common thread that we talk about with the title of this exhibition, is we use these techniques as a visual language. We both feel that we have something to say about a particular subject, and we have used our lace making as our visual language to get across a visual message. Visual things is such an international language.
Per crear les art dolls, Denise Watts utilitza els coneixements obtinguts a partir de la investigació sobre l'ús del crin per crear estructures tridimensionals, realitzant nines de color blanc amb detalls vermells per mostrar els problemes de les dones, el patiment femení al llarg de la història, des del dolor dels naixements a la menstruació, els cors trencats, els tractaments de bellesa o la frustració al llarg dels segles de no ser tractades de manera igualitària en relació als homes.
I wanted people to firstly look at it, well, that's pretty, and then I wanted them to look at it a bit more and find something about them that just makes them feel vaguely uncomfortable. It's really interesting, the doll form, when you think about it. I mean, they're used in horror films, and so some people are just totally and utterly freaked out by them. And because I wanted to represent a whole range of women, because we're all different, every doll I make is completely different. They have a different body shape. Probably, I say that, maybe the arms and legs are a bit similar. But I love every part of making them. I love the paper mache heads, because you're never quite sure. You have an idea of what's going to emerge as you're creating them. But sometimes this little face comes out of the manipulation of the materials, and you think, oh yes. And very often I think I'm going to do a doll to represent one thing, and as she appears under my hands, I think, no, something else. I give her another.
So she's born in your hands.
Almost,
and her personality emerges.
Yes.
Per altra banda, Jane Atkinson, inspirada pel seu recorregut quotidià de Christchurch, al sud d'Anglaterra, per les marismes locals, utilitza elements neutres o negres i mostres de puntes del seu estudi per explorar el canvi climàtic amb peces fluides inspirades en l'aire, la terra i l'aigua.
Well, you have to have some vegetation in front of you to understand how nature has created it. Look at the way that the leaves are grow from this branch, and I thought, I brought a little book about Gaudi's design with me, and this is the way Gaudi would have. He took these tiny details, and then he perhaps created a pillar using the details that he saw, and by my interest in the details of nature, I became interested in the way that nature and the landscape are changing because of the way of what the climate is doing. And my daily walk around my local landscape became a way of charting the changes that are happening, and then putting that into my lace and showing people in a recent exhibition that I had that this is the evidence of what the climate is doing to our landscape. My lace is the evidence that you need to know that the climate is changing.
Les seves obres han estat qualificades de llums de puntes de finals del segle XX. L'exposició Fils Comuns es podrà veure al Centre Cultural Calisai del 5 al 28 d'abril.